यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतान्य
यस्मिन् सर्वाणि
यस्मिन्
भूतानि
सर्वाणि भूतान्य
आत्मैवाभूद् विजानतः
आत्मैवाभूत
आत्मैवाभूतविजानतः
विजानतः
तत्र को मोहः कः शोकः
तत्र को
तत्र को मोहः
कः
कः
शोकः
शोकः
एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः।
एकत्वम्
एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः।
So can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Translation. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? Purport. Except for the Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari discussed above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of a living being. The living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of fire are qualitatively one with the fire. Yet sparks are not fire as far as quantity is concerned, for the quantity of heat and light present in the sparks is not equal to that in the fire. The Mahabhagavata, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord. Since there is no difference between the energy and the energetic, there is the sense of oneness. Although, from the analytical point of view, heat and light are different from fire, there is no meaning to the word fire without heat and light. In synthesis, therefore, heat and light and fire are the same. Heat, light, and fire are the same. In this mantra, the words ekatvam, anupashyata indicate that one should see the unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of the revealed scriptures. The individual sparks of the Supreme Whole, the Lord, possess almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not quantitatively equal to the Supreme Lord. These qualities are present in minute quantity, for the living entity is but a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. To use another example, the quantity of salt present in a drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean, but the salt present in the drop is qualitatively equal in chemical composition to all the salt present in the ocean. If the individual living being were equal to the Supreme Lord, both qualitatively and quantitatively, there would be no question of his being under the influence of the material energy. In the previous mantras, it has been already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the Supreme Being in any respect. Therefore, Ekatvam does not mean that a living being is equal in all respects to the Supreme Lord. It does, however, indicate that in a broader sense, there is one interest. Just as in a family, the interest of all members is one, or in a nation, the national interest is one, although there are many different individual citizens. Since the living entities are all members of the same Supreme Family, their interest and that of the Supreme Being are not different. Every living being is a son of the Supreme Being. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.5, all living creatures throughout the universe, including birds, reptiles, ants, aquatics, trees, and so on, are emanations of the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all of them belong to the family of the Supreme Being. There is no clash of interest. The spiritual entities are meant for enjoyment, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12. Anandamayo bhasyat. By nature and constitution, every living being, including the Supreme Lord and each of his parts and parcels, is meant for eternal enjoyment. The living beings who are engaged in the material tabernacle are constantly seeking enjoyment, but they are seeking it on wrong platform. Apart from the material platform and the spiritual platform where the Supreme Being enjoys himself with his innumerable associates, on that platform there is no trace of material qualities, and therefore that platform is called Nirguna. On the Nirguna platform, there is never a clash over the object of enjoyment. Here in the material world, there is always a clash between different individual beings because here the proper center of enjoyment is missed. The real center of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, who is the center of the sublime and spiritual rasa dance. We are all meant to join him and enjoy life with one transcendental interest and without any clash. That is the highest platform of spiritual interest. And as soon as one realizes this perfect form of oneness, there can be no question of illusion, moha, or lamentation, shoka. A godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. A godless civilization, such as that sponsored by the modern politicians, is always full of anxieties because it may be crushed or at any moment. It may be crushed at any moment. That is a law of nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, no one but those who surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can surpass the stringent laws of nature. Thus, if we wish to get rid of all sorts of illusion and anxiety and create unity out of all the diverse interests, we must bring God into all our activities. The results of our activities must be used to serve the interest of the Lord and not for any other purpose. Only by serving the Lord's interest can we perceive the Atma Bhuta interest mentioned herein. The Atma Bhuta interest mentioned in this mantra and the Brahma Bhuta interest mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54 are one and the same. The Supreme Atma or soul is the Lord Himself, and the minute Atma is a living entity. Supreme Atma or Paramatma alone maintains all the individual minute beings. For the Supreme Lord wants to derive pleasure out of their affection. The Father extends himself through his children and maintains them in order to derive pleasure. If the children obey the Father's will, the family affairs will run smoothly with one interest and a pleasing atmosphere. The same situation is transcendently arranged in the absolute family of the Parabrahma, the Supreme Spirit. The Parabrahman is as much a person as the individual entities. Neither the Lord nor the living entities are impersonal. Such transcendental personalities are full of transcendental bliss, knowledge, and life eternal. That is the real position of spiritual existence. And as soon as one is fully cognizant of this transcendental position, he at once surrenders onto the lotus feet of the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna. But such a Mahatma or great soul is very rarely seen because such transcendental realization is achieved only after many, many births. Once it is attained, however, there is no longer any illusion or lamentation or the miseries of material existence or birth and death, which are all experienced in our present life. That is the information we get from this mantra of Sri Isopanishad. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So, see, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Bheda Veda Prakash. So, Krishnera Tatastha Shakti, the living entity is marginal potency of the Lord. So, Krishna has three types of energies: Antaranga Shakti, Baharanga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. So, Antaranga and Baharanga Shakti are the controlling principle. The Supreme Lord is the supreme controller. They are his extensions which are controlling. And living entity, the jiva is the tatastha shakti, or the, you can say, the marginal potency which is controlled. Now Krishna says mamaya vansh jiva loke jiva bhut sanatana. So living entities are my parts and parcels. Krishna is Parabrahman, Supreme Brahman, and we are his parts and parcels. We are minute Brahman. And when we come in contact with this material nature, we immediately fall into the lower modes. So, see, Krishna is Anandamaya. Krishna is Anandamaya. Satchidananda Vigraha. Anandamaya. So, by nature, we are also Anandamaya. And that's why, as soon as we come into the material world, we are also seeking pleasure. So, living entities in this material world, though they are situated in ignorance, are still seeking pleasure. You can see animals, birds, even the plants. If you see, like if you observe, where the sun is shining, the plants also bend a little bit. Ananda, seeking some Ananda, even though the consciousness is practically zero. So that's the nature of living entity, to always seek pleasure, to be Anandamai, because he is coming from that platform. There is no question of shoka on the pure spiritual platform. But there is certainly this kind of lamentation because of ignorance. So Krishna says, Manah Shashtani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So because they're situated now, Prakriti Sthani, so now they're Karshati, they're struggling because they're situated on the material platform. This kind of a misery does not exist on the spiritual platform. So Krishna is advising everyone to come to that platform. If you see the second canto of Bhagavatam, the process of liberation of a yogi, we can see the living entity, when it enters into the material world, first it takes up a mind being situated in the mode of goodness, then it takes up senses, the working and the gross senses, by entering into uh, mode of passion, and eventually it takes up a gross body by entering into the mode of ignorance. So when we say, this Jadendriya Tahe Kal, so Jadendriya, when we use this word, Jada means ignorance. And any physical manifestation that we are seeing is essentially ignorance. That's why the yogis at the time of liberation merge the gross body into ignorance, the subtle body into the mode of passion, and mind into the mode of goodness, and then they transcend to Brahman. So this is a process of reversing the entanglement of material nature. So gross body is certainly a manifestation of ignorance. So we have to revive the consciousness of goodness by becoming a Brahmana. Brahma janatiti Brahmana. One who realizes Brahman becomes a Brahmana. So, and what's the benefit? So, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma na shochati na kankshati. So, na shochati na kankshati. Certainly, when you're situated in Brahman, there is no question of shochati. Actually, all shochati comes from kankshati. All the material desires, they create lamentation. So, the living entity becomes free from lamentation and hankering when it enters into the platform of Brahman. Samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim lavate param. So then it can actually start devotional service because it can realize who is the Supreme Brahman. So the objective of human life is to be situated on the platform of Brahman. And Uttam Adhikari is situated on the platform of Brahman. Therefore, he is not able to see the enemy or friend or good or bad because he only sees Brahma and he sees the modes of nature. He sees only Brahmas and Gunas. He himself becomes Nirguna and he's able to see, he's only able to perceive Gunas and Brahma. For him, there is no question of good or bad. In this material world, there is good or bad. Just today, some devotee was sending me a message that Prabhu, we should oppose all American products because America is the enemy. Oh, this is complete nonsense because 2 months ago, America was the friend. So now who's enemy, who's friend? So this is all, these are illusions because of churning of the three modes of nature. Something looks favorable, something looks unfavorable, but actually it is all the same. So Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. So there is no lamentation, there is no hankering. There is no question of good or bad. So Dvaite Bhadra Bhadra Gyan is Ei Sab Abhram. So this is all illusion. Bhadra Abhadra, good or bad, favorable, unfavorable, enemy, friend, heat, cold, all this, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is advising already. Matra Sparshastu Konteya Shitoshna Sukhutukata. All dualities are perceived by coming in contact with material nature. So even time factor does not exist in the spiritual platform. A yogi, when he transcends this body, when he enters into Brahman, everything becomes static. He can see the time factor, but he becomes beyond it. In this world, there is time factor. The body starts, the body ends. The world starts, the world ends. Everything has a beginning and an end. That is called the time factor. But in the spiritual domain, there is no such thing. So all these dualities, beginning and end, heat or cold, good or bad, happiness, distress, these are perceived on the material platform, specifically under the modes of passion and ignorance. One who transcends these actually becomes completely blissful. So then he becomes one in quality with the Lord. And therefore, there is no question of anxiety. For example, if you see, say, a match between Germany and France, you don't feel good or bad about it. It's it's neither of them is your homeland, or nor do you have a proper understanding of the sport. So you don't feel anything. But if it's your own nation, then you feel so much of emotional connection. So this is duality because we have identified with the matter. A yogi, a Brahma Nirvana Prapta yogi, he becomes completely agnostic to all these changes of this world. He becomes completely indifferent to all these changes. Tatra ko moha kah shoka. So what is his attachment? What illusion can he have and what anxiety can he have? Ekatvam anupashyata. So he sees everything constantly. He sees a unity in everything. Therefore, when you feel within yourself some happiness or distress, or you feel anxiety or something, you should understand that we should understand that we have not progressed so much on the spiritual platform. So, what is the way to achieve this Brahman? So, so Krishna is saying, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So approach a bona fide spiritual master and who's tattvadarshi, one who's already on the platform of Brahman, or one who has seen Krishna, and take instructions from him. So we have the spiritual master, we have Srila Prabhupada here, and we have the instruction also. Chant Hare Krishna. So there's a very interesting story in this regard, which comes in the lifetime of Rasikananda. So Rasikananda's spiritual master was Shyamananda Prabhu. So Shyamananda Prabhu was very much, He was a very strong devotee, very staunch devotee. And one day in his village, that was near what we present day Balasore or Baleshwar, there was his village of Kirti or Gopinath. So he used to live there. So one day, when he was brushing his teeth in the morning, one of his disciples came to tell him that there's a yogi who can fly in the air. So Shyamanand Prabhu said, "Yes, I can believe." So he said, "Yes, but this yogi can really fly. Like, you just tell him and he will fly." He says, "Yes, it's not very wonderful. You just chant the holy names." And this disciple thought that Shyamanand Prabhu has not understood. He said, "Maharaj, this yogi can actually fly without wings." So Shyamanand Prabhu just threw down his toothbrush, that the tool that he used to brush his tooth with, stepped on it, and he also flew in the air. And then he said, "This is not very wonderful. You just chant the holy names." So a devotee of the Lord, a pure on the platform of pure devotion, realizes all the truth of Brahman. He becomes transcendental to the modes of nature. Ordinarily, a human body cannot fly because human body is made of ignorance, jada, so it cannot fly. Birds have special capacity; they can fly. Humans cannot. But when the living entity is completely purified, then he is no longer under the laws of nature. Those laws do not apply to him. So Shyamanand Prabhu could fly. Of course, this is an anecdotal event, but it just goes on to show that all these mystic gymnastics are not really important. So one should simply chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So the way to realize Brahman is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, just a short question. So, for example, now there came in the Uli news that, let's say, in Helsinki city, the crime rate has risen 3 times in the last 5 years, and also the shoplifting case raised 60%. So, it really make a person feel a little bit sad about the situation, and a devotee also. Like, of course, you see the degradation, which is unfortunately accelerating in some extent. And for example, even like big cities of like Europe and Helsinki as well, they are not the same as they were like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So we certainly feel a little bit of lamentation because, of course, the souls are, of course, getting deeper and deeper into Maya. So are we supposed to feel indifferent about it as well?
Yeah, I mean, don't be indifferent, be cautious. If there is crime in the city, then you need to be cautious. Otherwise, someone could hurt you. But at the same time, you don't need to feel good or bad about it. I mean, in 1938, Helsinki was being bombed. At least no such thing is happening right now, so we are still better off. God knows what's going to happen in the future. So we just stay alert. We understand that material world means padam padam yat vipadam. Every step is full of danger. So if something is going well, just be very cautious and use that opportunity to remember Krishna more. Don't waste time that, okay, now I'll enjoy this world. So this is a very dangerous space. Anything can happen at any time. In the entire human history, we've hardly had any years of peace. In fact, it is said that in the last 1800 or 2000 year history of Europe, last 60, 70 years have been the most peaceful actually. This is the largest time span we've had without any major wars. So, yeah, so we have lived a good time. So we need to be very cautious now. Everything has a beginning and an end. So become indifferent in the sense that stop lamenting over it. Just understand that this is material nature, it is going to happen. Our job is to remember Krishna at all times. Because even if everything goes wonderfully well, eventually we are going to die. Material body is going to be finished. Whether it is finished through a bomb or it is finished through some old age or disease, it is going to be finished. So everything is a cause of worry in this world. That way, because we are in material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
That's Ram.
So, very at the beginning, at the start of Kali Yuga, when it was about to start, or almost started. So, the sages of Naimisharan already could see all these things, and for the benefit of the all the people coming in the Kali Yuga, they did all the yagya, and they heard and meditate on the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's like all what Prabhupada says. The main problem of the society today is the lack of God consciousness. So, it's not about scarcity of, like Prabhupada always says, it's not about the scarcity of food or resources or everything. It's mainly about uh, if there is all these problems arising, that means seriously we are not able to reach all the people and give them God consciousness. It is Krishna consciousness. So we really have to work first on our own sadhana, and work out on the avenues how to reach to people and give them Krishna. So whatever is there, whatever was in the capacity of the sages of Naimisharan, they did for us. So it is expected that whoever is getting this gift of Krishna consciousness, they should also share with the world in their own best of their capacities. There is no other direct solution for it. We cannot tackle the material problems by our material intelligence. Hare Krishna. We can
Hare
only
Krishna. Thank you.
limit to a certain extent. We can only limit the damage to a certain extent, but it is going to come anyway.
Yes, material world means always some turmoil. We are lucky that we are not seeing any major turmoil yet. Like we have passed half our life and no major turmoil, but yeah, but that doesn't guarantee that there won't be any in the future. So we need to be very cautious. Okay. So we stop here today. We continue
Hare
tomorrow with the
Krishna,
next.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhuji, I had a question.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in the previous verse also, there was a line that Srila Prabhupada had said that
Huh.
neophytes, they think that, you know, this religion is better or this path is better and whatnot.
Hmm.
Here now in the Shamanand Pandit's example also, you had mentioned that these yogis and all, they can do all these so-called magical things. So
Hmm.
it's quite clear that the path of Krishna consciousness is superior to the yogic
Correct.
path or whatever. So then why did Srila Prabhupada in the previous purport kind of, I don't want to say chastise, but kind of criticize the neophyte thinking of having a superior path in Krishna consciousness?
Ah, because all the paths are different grades of upliftment. You know, the gist of all the paths is the same. Our path may be superior, but that doesn't mean that we have become superior. This path is actually, even in our paths, there are many subtleties in the sense that, we haven't realized Radha and Krishna. We have just got the process of chanting, but we haven't really understood it fully. That's why we have so many material attachments. On the other hand, someone may be just reciting some kalma and doing some namaz in some mosque and still becoming more spiritually elevated because he's having absolute faith in that process and he's trying to follow it to his utmost. So, therefore, a neophyte distinguishes, this is good, this is bad, this is not. But the advanced devotee, he can understand that all paths are leading to the same absolute truth. Their twists and turns may be different from mine. Ours is certainly a superior path in the sense that we directly know Radha and Krishna and we can attain him. But that doesn't mean that we have yet attained him. The Lord is merciful. If someone is a very sincere soul, he can be delivered in any platform. We see so many stories like Kubja. What was Kubja really doing? Kubja was not a Brahmana or anything. Kubja was a society girl, which is a very polite way of saying that she was practically a prostitute. But Krishna delivered her immediately. So what kind of dharma could she have followed? Her only dharma was that she became attracted to Krishna. So there are so many stories. Like in Vrindavan, there was this Muslim tailor or someone in Juhu temple. There's a Muslim tailor whose family supplies the clothes for all the deities. And it's been like 2 generations which have supplied clothes for the deities. So certainly, whatever their religion may be, they are attracted to Krishna. They are able to follow that path. In Jagannath Puri, there have been examples of this. So it doesn't matter. The only desire that we should have is to attain the mercy of the Lord. So neophyte always thinks in terms of superior and inferior, but a Mahabhagavat only sees Tattva.
Hmm. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Prabhuji, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. So प्रभु जी जो ये क्रिमिनल्स हैं या जो रेप करते हैं प्रभु जी इनको किस वे में देखेंगे हम प्रभु जी ये भी पार्ट एंड पार्सल है कृष्णा के प्रभु जी
हाँ हाँ सभी हैं मतलब सी जैसे मैं कहा ना द्वैते भद्रा भद्र ज्ञान सो इन दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड there is no good or bad. These are just material modes of nature which are churning around. So criminal, what to speak of criminal? Say for example a snake. We say Pandita Samdarshina. We see everyone with an equal vision. So we say we see everyone with an equitable vision. So the Pandita shows mercy to everyone. Krishna was merciful to Jagai and Madhai. So the whatever crimes you are mentioning, Jagai Madhai had done that 1,000 times over. But Mahaprabhu delivered them immediately. So you see, crime, passion, all these things are just tamoguna and rajoguna.
And also the
The
example of
more living entities.
Lord Ram also, like you gave the example of Jagai Mother. So what was Ravanasu doing? Ravanasu was actually abducting so many princes and queens, and then he used to enjoy them to an extent that he was so lusty for even Mother Sita also. And still Lord Ram was ready to forgive if he is ready to surrender.
Yeah.
So
So every living entity is implicated. So there's a very interesting line in Ramayana. This Ravana, he was a very cruel person. So he would abduct the princesses and queens, and he would kill their brothers and fathers, and husbands, or who, whatever the case may be. But Prabhupada, I mean, what it is mentioned, Valmiki writes there, but all of these princesses happily accepted Ravana. So who's good, who's bad? I mean, they saw their own fathers, brothers, husbands being murdered, but they happily accepted Ravana. So living entity in the material modes is always bad. There's nothing good in this material world.
Okay, modes of nature are doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Prakriti Kriya. Material modes are acting. So anything that is not related to Krishna is bad. Anything that is related is good.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you all the Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhupada. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.